ready to go? Sweet. Parker, you want to go?
Yeah, my name's Kyle Parker, graduated from here in, back in the day. It's been at least a couple months. So I haven't been gone that long. Now I'm in the top training.
So I'm First Lieutenant Jarrell Scriven. I'm a personnelist. By trade, I'm an international liaison officer while I'm at Advanced Air Force Base, Oklahoma.
Kevin Delker, I graduated in 2006. I'm from Claremore. I'm an IP in the 8th, so flight T6. What are your questions? We're not going to do like introductions, briefs.
We
like,
decided to take too long.
Yeah, so we're not going to have time to answer all your questions. So what are your guys' questions that you have about what we do, the Air Force, our time in ROTC, freshman stuff, sophomore stuff, field training stuff? I don't know, it doesn't matter. You guys are ready.
Question for you. You said you're an international liaison officer. What exactly do you do?
All right, so what I do, go now. It catches everybody's attention. So international liaison officer, what we do advanced, we have international students from all over the world coming for pilot training. We work with the IPs and their classmates to make sure these guys get through all academic phases, which is like 8 gruesome tests that they may need a little help on, because let's be honest, it's their second language. It's hard to tell someone, hey, learn English, now go take the English test. So we work with them, their classmates, we make sure they get through pilot training from T6s with their phases right now, what he instructs, to the T-38s, which are fighter bomber track. And then we send these guys out the door to F-16, F-15s, whatever their country's main weapon system for fighters are.
So do you have to speak this second language?
I do not, however, I do, just because of my personal background. I speak Japanese, was raised in Japan. We just so happen to have a Japanese student at Advance, so it works out perfect for me. We talk about home all the time. Good for you?
That's good.
Anything else?
So, go ahead. Sir, you said you're raised in Japan there? Were your folks in the military?
My mother was DOD, Department of Defense teacher. So she had what we call date eligible to return from overseas, DEROS. My mom's is indefinite. Teachers don't have to move. So we've been in Japan since, it's been a while.
She's still there, sir.
She's still there. My mother's still there, still yelling about how slow Japanese people drive, but she will be okay.
Exotic vacation there. Go visit her.
That's not exotic anymore. That's
It's
home.
not?
It's
Really?
home.
Oh, okay,
It's
for
not
sure.
exotic. I go, oh, look, it's the same
Hey,
thing.
Japan real quick.
That's how it goes.
Sir,
Was it tough growing up on a base where everyone else is filtering out and you're not?
It was. It was. I will kid you not. We miss Walmart. We miss people. Being a child over there and letting stuff go in and out, it's a little tough. But you grow to like it, grow to love it, and keep it rolling, because life doesn't stop for anybody.
yes, sir.
Tell me about the day in life of a student pilot.
Day in life student pilot. Well, like I said in last class, I got 12-hour days, mainly because they're not allowed to keep us any longer than 12 hours, and that's like on the dot usually. I study all day. I go fly with an IP, like Captain Delker. When I'm done with that, I go home for the day and I go study for about 4 more hours, or around there, or until I fall asleep reading books that are boring. It sounds bad, it's not. You get paid to fly $4.6 million aircraft. You get paid to fly it all day. So, you can't beat it. You're getting top-notch training from guys who have, like, how many hours do you have?
2,500 hours in 3 aircraft and 1,000 combat hours.
Boom. How does that make you feel? I've got 30 hours in a T6. I think it makes me feel.
I say only supportive things.
Can we land already? Yeah. You do some dumb stuff as a student, but you're there to learn. It's a lot of fun. You get to do a lot of stuff that not a lot of other people get to experience.
With those long kind of days, do you ever feel like too tired, or do you feel like you're not up and ready?
I
to do what you
started
want
on August 14th, and I have been tired since August 15th.
to do? Does that ever worry you when you're flying, you know?
Nah.
Sir, why did you fly other than before you were IP?
I was C-17s in Seattle. I did MC-12s just out of Accord. It's like flying assignment I volunteered for, so I went to Afghanistan for 6 months to the autumn for ACC. What's that?
I've asked this every single time, but I'm studying to become a chaplain. Do you
Yeah.
have any stories or any experiences, chaplains?
There was a chaplain in my SOS course. There were chaplains at every deployed location I'd ever been to. I don't know exactly how the schooling works. My roommate, when I was here, wanted to be a chaplain when Space and Missiles. I think he eventually ended up going to like a school of divinity. We will always have them just because there's a special need. You can't outsource to someone who understands what we do, who goes downrange and stays with us downrange and deals with what people in Bagram Air Force Base deal with after they come back from a 12-hour combat mission. Like, no one understands that except for the chaplain. So, I've had only good experiences with them. Actually, I did some talking to the chaplain at McCord when I got back from my deployment. It's like mandated. And he was very open, very objective. Seemed like a regular guy. And they just get to kind of do their thing. Like they support your job is to support the wing, like morally, spiritually, motivationally, like everything. Just keep everyone healthy. So that's my experience with them. It's been a good one.
There's a chaplain's go, I believe it's COT or BOT, one or the other. It's basically, most times the chaplain's on the outside, or they go to their school of divinity, and then they go in, and then they get like a rehab on ROTC all over again. You don't quite go through what everyone else goes through, because that's not a chaplain's purpose. If you want, offline, afterwards, that's my number up there. I can put you in touch with any one of the chaplains or the chaplain's assistants to point you in the right direction to help you out, as well as your cadre here. We have four chaplains on vans, and just as many chaplain's assistants running around behind them, making sure they're okay. So that's how that goes. Time hack.
We have 7 minutes, sorry.
What's up?
Did Coming to America, was that like?
We'll switch the verbiage up a little bit.
You said you grew up in Japan, so, you know, Japan's home, so taking an exotic vacation, I would think America would be in that category.
It actually was. I'll tell you, Walmart was the place to be. We cringed. We were like, oh man, we could sure use a Walmart in Japan. Because the only time we ever spent in the States was 2 months out of the year, summer break. That's it. It's the only time I ever came to the States. So going to Disneyland, and not the one in Japan, because that one sucks. It's small. I don't know what they were thinking. I guess they ran out of space.
Small world after all.
It is a small one. I wouldn't consider it exotic to come to the States with angry drivers with crowbars when you cross them on the street. But it was different. It was a culture shock for me. Let me talk about my core AFSC real quick. So I'm a personnelist, like I said. I want you guys to think about it. Some of you may or may not be a personnelist. When you put in your dream sheet, they may give you personnel. Doesn't sound like the most glamorous job, but it's one of the most crucial jobs in the Air Force. And we have a little saying that we say, we work from the cradle to the grave. And when we say that, we mean, we do eligibility, we do all your family's rights while you're a military sponsor. So we work with families, we work with decorations, awards, evaluations, PCS, which these guys are more than happy to work with us. PCS, you're gonna move. These guys are happy to get out of vans, so they come talk to us. In between that, you have manpower. The personnel realm, we have 3 AFSCs, personnel, manpower, and services. So manpower are the guys who say, you can or cannot have these many people. And they can tell a full-bird colonel, you can't have these many people. And Colonel B can stomp, flip tape, and do all he wants, but at the end of the day, his second lieutenant, his first lieutenant just told a colonel he can't have. And that's how the Air Force works, it's checks and balances with our career field. And then we also have services, the grade part. We deal with food, fitness, gym, lodging, and mortuary. That's a big thing in the personnel career field is mortuary. So we get to have the ability to respect those who have given their lives coming back from the desert at Dover, Delaware. We get to we don't necessarily handle the remains, but we definitely get to make sure that everything is a smooth transition from coming back and going to their homes so their families can pay their respects as well. So if you see someone get personnel on their drop, when you guys get your AFSCs, they go, you better give them a loud clap because that's a huge deal. And they can tell you it's a showstopper. Personnel's closed, these guys need something done. If it didn't happen on paper, it never happened. And that's what we're here for. 5 minutes. 5 minutes, sir.
What else do you guys have? Questions, concerns? What's up?
Being in like IP and you've been in a while, how much has like sequestration changed? Like, has it been like a super radical change, or they kind of like?
I'll tell you right now, sequestration does not affect us the way it affects the fire squadron, the way it affects AMC. Less so. Fighter squadrons get the brunt of it when they're not, because they're not deployed. They practice, so they pick up their manning. Like, we are a primary pipeline. Without those pilots, don't get produced. So we were the last squadron to feel anything, and we virtually felt nothing. AMC is like, hey, we're going to cut down 2 local sorties because we burn 150,000 pounds of gas per sortie. So we'll cut those down. Instead of the sortie, we'll do a sim. Sim still costs a lot, but it's not as much as 300,000 pounds of gas. Fighter squadrons, they just stood them down. My buddy in A-10s didn't fly for like 6 months. And then he had to spin up, which is a whole other program, requiring paperwork, requiring personnel, requiring all this stuff to get his initiation started back on it. It's different. It's a different beast for every person in the squad. But I haven't felt it. Other than my TA getting shut off for like my master's classes and stuff.
That's okay.
So it's a little bit.
And that goes hand in hand for those who are in here, who aspire to fly, and for some reason you were just dead set on F-22s or F-16s. The last class, the guy also asked about A-10s. Everyone familiar with the A-10, the Warthog? Badass aircraft. They're more than likely going to go away. They've currently stopped any students from graduating to go to A-10 B course. So there are 3 guys that got A-10s as of late. They've all been switched over to F-16s. Not a bad gig to switch over to, but the B course for F-16s is also backed up too. So these guys will be sitting around, simming and studying until they can actually get in the bird and actually fly.
I know a lot of students from Del Rio that were stuck waiting for B courses when I graduated. And they waited over a year and they were just like, I'll give up my F-16 and just let me go fly something. Or I'll go fly anything. They gave it up. The girl who got the A-10 out of like 13, that was her lifelong dream, her lifelong goal. They put a T1 up on track day, faked her out, and then gave her a T-38. She started crying. She was so happy. She got her A-10, got her pulled away from her. She earned that. She earned her A-10. She was good. Needs the Air Force sequestration. What's up?
What do they do when they're waiting for that pipeline to open up, or?
It depends. Sometimes they're in what's called Z flight in 38s. They have to kind of stay current, and they'll fly a T-38 once or twice a week. T1 guys, not that big of a deal. Like, we're gonna go to Altus, we're gonna go to some other RTU. It's not as important that I keep flying. Like, IFF needs to have that training, that enhancement. So it's all relative. And then you'll do SEER training, you'll do water survival training, you'll do all the requisites that you have to fly overseas while you're waiting for your RTU. And then once you get that done, maybe you'll PCS and help out your new squadron, or maybe you'll just kind of hang around advance until whatever happens, help out, do stuff in the student squad.
So do you have any stories about like engine failure or anything in the C-17 or any emergencies like that?
I had a lot of rapid Ds. I was flying over. We left on a mission from Seattle, Hawaii, Australia, Diego. I don't know if you know where Diego Garcia is. That's in the Indian Ocean. It's 6 hours away from pretty much everything that we wanted to get to. So we're flying, and we heard like a warning go off, an oxygen warning. So I got my mask on quicker than anybody, because I was freaked out. I was sitting in the co-pilot seat, and the AC was like, "What's going on?" So they finally had their masks on, and my good friend from pilot training was sitting in the back playing his Game Boy DS. It was just like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" Like, he was saving his game before he got his mask. What had happened was like we were gonna go do Spro Ops. That's where we land on a dirt field, and we kick off a bunch of Australian troops and equipment, and we take back off, and we go back to Diego Garcia, and we had to alter the bottom of the C-17 so that the rocks didn't break the beacons on the bottom, so we just put plates. But the guy, the maintainer, put the plates on the outside instead of on the inside, so when it pressurized, instead of pushing against the fuselage, it stripped the bolts. We lost cabin pressure, and so we flew back over the Indian Ocean at like 16,000 feet. That was interesting. Had a few engine shutdowns out of Iraq. There was some MC-12 stuff that went down with weather, but it's not really interesting to talk about.
That's about all the time we have for this group right now. So I guess transition to the next.
Man, thanks, Joey.